I should have scared them. Hey, Pluto! No, he's there. He's waiting to come in. He's coming, man. He's coming. He's coming. He's scared to jump down. When they do that, it's because there's stuff on the floor and they can't get down. Don't worry, when you put the news on tomorrow morning, when you put the news on for 9 o'clock in the morning, you're going to see. And in a weird turn of events, we have a UFO in London as we see a flying cat racing across Bromley. Huh? Racing across Bromley. I'm talking about Oreo. Yeah, because my screens are filthy. He's the cute boy. He's the cute boy. He's the cute boy. Yeah. We should get you a fluffy jumper. What about that cat yesterday? No, the one that was falling down. It wouldn't stop. Like, yeah, you would. Just to see it go. I did, in front of me. I should have. I just want to go up. What up? Oh, nice, Rachie. Brandon, Wayne's World. Rachie, Woodpit, Banish Show. Did I say Woodpit? I didn't. How's it going, buddies? How's it going, folks? Yeah, back with another day, another stuff. pleasure. I'm tempted to say that's Chris. Is that Chris? I'm tempted to say it's Chris. My voice is distorted? Is it really? One sec. How's that? Is that better? Hopefully that's better. You guys can hear me. I'm hoping. Look, I am muted. I just had a lot of problems today. Okay. The latest NVIDIA drivers are absolutely crap. Do not get them. They are beyond crap. They destroyed my PC. Even doing a clean install, nothing would work. Not my Adobe Premiere, nothing. In fact, Adobe Premiere wouldn't even see my graphics drivers. Don't get the new drivers. They are not good. I had to re-roll and reset everything. Low volume? Nah, it can't be low volume, man. Come on. Oh no, we can hear you now. Yes, we can. Go away. Don't do it. He literally just came in, right? By the way, guys, if you hear about a flying cat in London, it's probably mine. He's about to go outside into the great unknown, the upside down. And trust me, it's quite windy here in London at the moment. So if you see a flying cat on the 9 o'clock news, just know it's mine, especially if it's black and white. If it looks like it's wearing a tuxedo, definitely mine. All right, chat, I'm going to show you something real quick. I think this is correct, right? I think this is right. I'm going to show you something. You guys need to do this because I can't keep up with everyone changing their damn names. Well, it wasn't your fault. It was YouTube's fault. But we should definitely fix this. So, here, before we get started with any of the news, check this out and have a look. You know what? It would help if you guys could actually hear something, right? Let's stop laughing at me. It's not my fault the whole thing fell apart. What's so funny? I got this one at the back in hysterics.
From your channel homepage, click the Customize Channel button, or from the YouTube Studio, go to Custom.
Alright, so for those of you that want to know how to change your YouTube handle, hey look, this is not my fault. It's NVIDIA's fault. Mate, I went from encode that video I encoded and uploaded today. It took 1 hour. Normally it takes like 10 minutes. And obviously something seemed off when I came back half an hour later and it was still taking 30 minutes. But it turns out the latest drivers really did kill my, just nuked the whole PC. Those drivers are just not good. Not the studio ones, not the other ones. So they're gone. But a lot of you have been asking, how do I change my YouTube handle? You know, so I can get my name back and whatnot. This is how it's done.
This is a quick guide on how to change your YouTube channel name. From your channel homepage, click the Customize Channel button, or from the YouTube Studio, go to Customization. Now you're on the profile screen, scroll down to name. You can change this to whatever you want, and this is a name displayed on your channel profile page. You can also change your channel handle, and this can be different to your channel name, but it has to be unique. No two channel handles can be the same on YouTube. Your channel handle is used as a quick link to your channel, and you can mention channels through their handle on YouTube. To do all of this on your smartphone, in the YouTube app, go to your channel, tap the pencil icon, and you'll see channel name and handle at the top. My pro tips for your channel name are...
That's it. That's how you do it. Now get to it. Do it. How's it going, Ghosty? It's for those, Wayne, that have had theirs changed. If it hasn't changed, it's fine. But like Chris's one has changed to Slayer. I only recognized him because of the picture, his avatar. I mean, I'll always recognize Ghosty's one. He's got that ugly eagle on there. No one wants to walk with that one, and that's why they always walk alone. Yes, Azano, it's not. It might be the actual Windows update that's causing it. I don't know, but the latest drivers from NVIDIA just do not work with the latest update of Windows. And I'm using. I know I'm on the beta tier, but it's been absolutely. It's been horrendous. Like today was absolute nightmare. It took me hours to figure out what the problem was. So yeah, if you want to go and change your nickname to what it was before, that is how you do it. You don't have to if you don't want to. Eventually I will figure out stuff. But if you want your old name back, like Ghosty wants to go and change it to I Love Man United, that is exactly how you do it. And Ghosty, I told you Amarim was going to get axed. I told you. That guy was trash. AI drivers working as intended. Hey, I almost couldn't stream today. Part 2 Shining Residence. I haven't heard that name before. Is that Sega RPG? Yeah, he's gone, man. He got terminated. He's gone. And as soon as he left, we won our first game. I mean, that's what I saw on social media. He's gone. With immediate effect. Unless what I saw on YouTube was rubbish. I remember playing that game. It's really good. The combat system, the battle system is awesome. It's really good. It's what makes it shine, but the story is really good as well. If you haven't played it, you're in for a real treat. I'd love to hear what you thought about that, Raichi. That was one of my highlight games for that year. I mean, that's what I've been seeing all over the web, unless people were just making it up and sharing my sentiment, which wouldn't be the first time. Nah, there's no way he managed us against Wolves. We actually won the game. So I already know by default that you're not being truthful. Now, had we lost against Wolves, I would 100% agree with you. That was true. But the fact that we won 4-1 means that what you're saying is not true. There's no way that he was there. That has worked, Chris Stores. Thank you very much. Chris Stores 316. You see? Now I'm getting people's proper names down. That's what we like. That's what we like. Now all we need is Gorsty to go and change it to I love Man United and we're all set. Yeah, but Gorsty, you don't have Harry Maguire in your team. He was the leading goal scorer against Man United last season. You know, when we went out to play, the opposition would cheer because they always had a man advantage. It was always 12 versus 10. But there was no chance Harry Maguire was ever going to do anything positive for United. Now, was there? No, that better. How about all the Northerners just change it to evening time dinner? Seems fair. That seems fair. Seems logical, right? Evening time dinner. Seems fair. Hey folks, don't forget to hit that like button. We are trying to hit 100 likes today. Let's see if we can get there. Thursday will be a late stream. I will be starting potentially around 11:30. And if there's, depending on how much there is to talk about but it may be at midnight as well, and then we're going to go through the whole thing. If Minnie is better, he should be joining me as well for a bit of it. Until he's ready to pass out. That's if he's feeling better. The 316 is from Stone Cold. Let's go. Yeah, guess what? Remember I was complaining in my Chrono streams that my OBS was acting weird and it was showing funny and all? That was all because of the NVIDIA drivers. It was software rendering, not hardware rendering. Like, how bad is this Windows update? It's really, really bad. Anyway, enough complaining about my troubles and tribulations on Windows. We have this. This statue has been claiming the lives of many. So many people have been wondering what this statue could possibly be. Now, my suggestions was originally Pac-Man, which got thrown out. Then it was Saros, which was actually a good guess. That got thrown out. Then I thought it might be Cameo from the old Rare game. That got thrown out as well. And so it turns out that it's not Starfield. It's actually Divinity 3. So the mystery of this has been solved. Unless this is the biggest troll of all time, it's Divinity 3. But I still think that my guesses, personally, with Pac-Man and Cameo, were way closer than, the guesses that everyone else was doing, including closer than Divinity 3. But, I have to give credit where credit is due. It wasn't found by me. But still, this should have been Cameo because I can see lots of Cameo in there. Hey, Great Manad. See, right, Woodpit? Even you can see the Cameo in there. Maybe like along the side there with the glowies, I can see Alpha Protocol 2 as well. Vital Vampire? It is. It just says a new trademark for Divinity has been placed. That's it. And it's basically the same symbol. Well, people are assuming it's the same symbol. But the icon matches. It could be Divinity Original Sin 3. Graymanad, I thought it was Saros too. Hey, Chris, that's no problem at all. I'm really enjoying it. It does get a little crazy towards the end, but I'm having a good time. I'm almost at the end of it now. We should finish it on Wednesday. It's taken a little while, but we should finish it. Originally, I was hoping to finish it last night, but Leaf got me hunting down a weapon that only has 2 bullets in it. And I ended up using the 2 bullets. 1.5 hours work for 2 bullets. Hey, big bullets though. You know, that gun is like crazy. I should actually take the resources back from there and use it on something else. But yeah, I originally thought this was Saros as well, to be fair. Right? I originally thought this was Saros myself. Because it just looked like Saros. But, you know, turns out it's Divinity free until they announce that it's not Divinity free and it's something totally different. Let me there we go. Man, there's been so many kind of crazy people on social media today. It's wild, man. Absolutely wild. Especially that guy, what's his name? Collective. Watchman's Collective. If you're in here, no offense, man, but you are wild. Saros was just rated in Taiwan yesterday. I think it's still Saros, you know? It just reminded me of Saros so much. I'd love it to be Cameo, though. Sheffield Wednesday are winning. Han, you better play the lottery. Sheffield Wednesday are winning. Unless they lose, then don't bother playing. Might as well make sure that that's happening right. It helps. Okay, that was a bit mean. I've noticed most games I buy physical are Japanese titles. They are harder to find in the used market. That's because number 1, they release them in such small quantity, and number 2, they rarely get, you know, enough traction. And so when people buy them, they keep them. They might be worth something in the future. But yeah, it looks like the mystery is potentially solved. I don't know if it is solved. It could be solved. It might not be solved. I still think it might be Saros. Others are saying it's Divinity. But I still have hopes that it could be Cameo. That game needs a sequel. Cameo was a good game. Microsoft, however, is promising, despite the woes of Windows updates that I've had today, to focus on performance fundamentals while they screw Nvidia over left, right, and center for PC gaming on Windows 11. This includes a focus on background workload management, power and scheduling improvements, graphics stack optimizations, and updated drivers. So, yay. This should be good. The biggest thing here is this one over here, in my opinion. This will be really good for
the handheld especially, that's going to work wonders if they can actually do that properly. I think that will work. That will be, you know, the actual ROG LIX will definitely benefit from that exponentially. Not only will it just ease the workload even more, ease up resources that bit more, and as we know, games are requiring more and more resources these days, so that is definitely going to be something that is fundamental. So, you know, I think the competition and the news of the Steam machine probably came as a big shock to Windows that, you know, they're trying to move into this space. And yeah, maybe that's the kick that Microsoft needed to stop being complacent and actually do something. Competition is good, right? Even though SteamOS really isn't that much competition, in the gaming space, it has its fans, so Windows now has to prove that it's better than what SteamOS can do. And as long as they can, yeah, and you know, that's great. I think this is what competition is all about. It pushes and urges each, you know, studio to do better. Out of curiosity, does anyone actually know why the AV board refuses? Well, actually, I think I answered my own question. Yeah, I think I answered my own question by just asking the question. I was going to ask about why the AV board refused Linux or SteamOS 2.1 for HDMI. But it's because HDMI 2.1 is not open source and Linux is, and because of that, it would be on an open source platform and they don't want that. It can, bullets. It can. It took them a long time, but they finally got there. They finally got there. I heard about Assassin's Creed Black Flag getting, is it called synced? Or Unity sync? I think Unity is coming out. They've done a Unity as well, right? For Assassin's Creed. Let me see. Assassin's Creed. Pretty sure there was Assassin's Creed synced, or am I just dreaming? I've had a rough few days, so I could have maybe been hallucinating. Many hours will be spent sailing the high seas, singing sea shanties, and the wife telling me to. I could have sworn Assassin's Creed. I don't know. I thought that's what I read, Assassin's Creed synced, Unity synced, but maybe I read it wrong. But hey, Black Flag should be interesting. More Xbox news. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is now Xbox Play Anywhere title. So if you want to not buying it because of that reason, it's also playable on handheld, Xbox Play Anywhere. Now's your chance to pick it up. In fact, Little Nightmares Enhanced Edition now is available on Xbox consoles and the PC Xbox Store, right? Xbox PC. But this one isn't Play Anywhere. They just wanted to throw that curveball in just to, you know, confuse you and make that streak a little bit more muddled. So the first one is definitely Play Anywhere. The second one, which conforms to all Play Anywhere standards, and really, if it's available on one, it should be the other, or at least the save files should work across each other, but they do not because it is not Play Anywhere. Hey, Talos. Is it Black Flag Resynced? Okay, maybe that's what it was then. Susanna, I couldn't remember why I didn't pick this up when I went to buy it. And then when this announcement came along, I'm almost convinced that this is why I didn't pick it up. And now that it's Play Anywhere, I'll pick it up. Because it's Metal Gear. Yeah, that needs to be specified though, and it's not vital. I totally get that. But it needs to be, and outside of Ubisoft, no one really does that. Ubisoft is really good with that outside of The Division, because they absolutely hate The Division with all intents and purposes, and they'll never do anything that provides any love for The Division. But despite The Division being the best money earner for Ubisoft and the biggest franchise in Ubisoft, that's the only game that doesn't do cross-save. But everything else seems to be doing cross-save just fine. So I know it exists and the companies do it, but not everyone does, and it needs to be specified. Like Helldivers, right? It's not, the save files aren't synced at all, when really they should be. It's the same game. Why is Raichi swearing at me? Ah, Ice Pick. That is until they remove the ability to play the game online. And then you're stuck with a game that you can't play. That's this satire, right? Division being the big. It is the greatest money earner. Division is great. Prove me wrong, John, CEO of Ubisoft. Prove me wrong. Indeed, Mortal Kombat 1 has become. So to coincide with the amazing Play Anywhere announcement for Metal Gear Solid Delta, they released this. Now I'm gonna put this out there. I think this looks awful. It looks so cheap. So tacked on. It just looks like one of them cheap cover plates that you can buy from eBay, that you put on yourself, and that's it. I don't know, man. There is something about that controller that just screams, I am dirt cheap. I am a Temu controller. Raichi, they've said that those that don't have it, we're going to cover it in a little bit anyway. But you need to wait a little longer. Come on, chat. Tell me, who thinks that this... I mean, I've seen some amazing looking Series X controllers, right? That don't even have any designs on them. Like, look at this one that I bought over here. Look at this one I bought over here. This, in my opinion, is better than my Starfield one. It looks beautiful. It's so nice. The black and white with the black, with the buttons and the red indent to them and the black D-pad and everything. Black and red just works so well. Now this is a premium. This is way better than that. Like, much better. I love my red controller. This is the one I use on my TV for xCloud and GeForce Now. Do you know what? Maybe Vital. Maybe. I don't know. It just looks so cheap. Super cheap. I don't know what it is, man. It just looks so incredibly cheap that it's just there. Like, I looked at that and I was like, I thought the Genshin Impact one that I originally wanted to pick up on the PS5 looked decent, and then upon further examination, it's just really bad. It's a really bad design. They could have put the Traveler and Paimon anywhere on that controller and it'd been cool on the faceplate, and they chose not to. But this just looks like they just, you know, put a vinyl sticker on it and called it a day. Right? By the way, for those of you that want to fix your YouTube name, on YouTube, if you go to customize and then, where is it? You go to customize and then you can go to your handle, change your account and handle, and then it gives you change your handle and then your preferred username will be displayed on YouTube. I don't even know if it's the colors clashing. It looks faded. It just doesn't look nice, man. I've seen Xbox controllers looking amazing, and this one just looks low effort. It's almost as bad as the statue Konami sold. How about Sion? It's fine. Why did you? So YouTube gave people a year and a half to to go and set their YouTube handle. And from that point, and they kind of publicly let everyone know to do it. But once it got to that point, your nickname was changing to a handle. They just wanted a handle to, I assume at the time, maybe it was Stadia related or something. I don't know. Or maybe they have other plans in the future that's going to now use your handle instead of your account name. It also provides you that level of privacy as well. But it's essentially the same thing as a nickname, but they've just introduced a new handle system into it. I don't know, to me, this is like a no bueno. But for those of you that are interested, oh wait, you can't even buy it. It's a you have to follow and repost for the sweepstakes chance to win the Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater custom. You can't even buy it, so what's the rules? It's a wall of text. I'm not reading that. I thought you could actually buy this. That's even worse. There's gonna be like 5 people entering this, so if you do want it, you've got a good chance of winning. Because that to me just looks awful. Hey man, this is just another one of those classic moments where Microsoft just doesn't like money. Hey, we got a cool design. Yeah, we're not going to put it into our controller creator program. No, we're just going to do one-off kinds. Yo, Power Boss, I noticed that thread that Jimmy was talking about me again. I mean, I don't see it, but it doesn't look like his post was there anymore. What tweet did he screenshot? Yeah, Jimmy. Jimmy's short for James. More important news, though. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle gets update 7. Now, obviously, this is big news. And we've got a bunch of stuff. You get the Pancot Palace outfit, which is now available. We've added a new outfit for Indy for all players, based on the suit he wore to dinner at Pancot Palace in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. To switch to the outfit, visit the outfit tab on the options menu, and you get that. Indy will wear this outfit wherever he isn't wearing a disguise. Or if the level requires a special outfit, such as in Marshall College or in Nepal. There's still another new outfit to come in the future update, so stay tuned. I don't get it, man. Do they think people are going to replay the game just for a new outfit? Either way, they fixed a bunch of stuff. Voiceover balancing, fixed an issue with the game's manual entries were incorrect. Fixed an issue with power saving mode on the Xbox Series X and S that could cause it to activate in the middle of some videos. And finally, the Order of the Giants. They fixed an issue where the fieldwork name for a mystery begins may not appear correctly in your journal, and if you had already progressed beyond the Vatican when first purchasing the DLC. Make it third person and I'll buy it. You know what? Machine games, don't make it third person. I don't want P. Warren to buy it. Hey, Talos has done it. Good job. I can finally call people by their actual names. I'll replay Indie if they add third person. I mean, they kind of have a bit of third person in there, so you should replay it anyway. But people, in a world and a time when we've had more releases of Resident Evil 4 than we care to count, more remasters, more remakes, more versions that go to VR than we can fathom, only one franchise can top it in terms of re-releases, and it's not The Last of Us. Can you guess what it is? Can you guess what that game is? Only one can surpass the infinitesimal releases of Resident Evil 4. It is not Dragon Quest. And you're not far off in the genre, but you are out quite a bit. Do you get a pony outfit? It is Skyrim. It's getting another release because why not? It's the same game, but now on the Switch 2. Those two games are gonna get the same release as many times as they can milk this franchise, baby. Because that is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, we're getting Skyrim Anniversary Edition for Nintendo Switch 2. It's going to have enhanced resolution and DLSS anti-aliasing, improved load times, optimized performance, mouse control support, motion controls, and amiibo support for those exclusive soundtracks you can't get anywhere else. And as a digital content, you get Master Sword, Hylian Shield, Champion's Tunic. Right, so Nintendo, which version is right for you? Download on the Switch. If you've got the Nintendo Switch Anniversary Edition, you can download the Switch 2 edition for free. Unlike Nintendo, Microsoft doesn't charge you. Nintendo Switch base game owners, purchase the anniversary upgrade at $20 because we can't guarantee you actually have the game. And for new players, we're going to give you the middle finger and make you pay full price for a game that was released 45 years ago. Let's go, baby! Skyrim available now. Brief. Hundreds of unique creation club items. And of course, Nintendo exclusive digital content. So, I don't know if the PlayStation version or the PC version or the Xbox version got any exclusive content. But if you're playing this game on Nintendo, your version is going to be the only version that has exclusive content that the other versions don't officially have. And again, that is the Master Sword, Hylian Shield, and a Champion's Tunic. The Last of Us is already past Skyrim for you, boss. No one else find this last bit here a little weird? It's the only platform that actually has exclusive content, to my memory. That's crazy. But hey, Skyrim is being released again. And what was the... Oh, what was his name? The one that stepped down from Bethesda. He said, "We will continue making it as long as you keep on buying it." And you know what? They've stuck to their word. They will continue releasing it until people stop buying it. Find the perfect version of Skyrim on Nintendo Switch 2 for you, featuring improved, enhanced, all of that good stuff. 30 FPS. So I have to spend $20 to get the improved performance? That's a big kick in the nads. Nah, it's not. You got physical. Sucks to be you for physical owners, but there's no way for them to prove that you've got the game. So that's part of the physical trade-off. Sorry. Boys, don't forget to hit that like button. I appreciate you if you do. Appreciate you even more if you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. But we have this over here, which is crazy. Right. It most likely is. What up, Woodpit? I can see you, Woodpit. But boys, there's this racing game, right? Called Forza Horizon 5. I don't know if any of you have heard of it. It's this really cool game that was released on Xbox and then later to PlayStation as well. Forza Horizon 5 should have won Game of the Year that year, but it didn't. But apparently, from what they're saying, and Forza Horizon 5, in my opinion, was a great game. And I think many of you will agree, even if you're not car enthusiasts, a great game is a great game. You don't have to enjoy the genre to know it's a great game. But ex-Forza devs are saying Horizon 5 was impacted by CVID. New game is in a league of its own. So these people are saying that Forza Horizon 5, despite how good it actually was heavily handicapped by what they were doing and the troubles and tribulations that the world went through between 2020 and 2023. But this game over here is like miles better than what Forza Horizon 5 is. Mate, that's putting this new Forza Horizon 6 on a whole new playfield. My expectations for this are literally perfection at this point. I do not. My son is coming back tomorrow, Telos, so I can test it out on the Switch one, because he took the Switch one with him. I've only got the Switch 2, and I know the Switch 2 runs it great, but I can test it out, Telos, and let you know. Did you even know you could buy digital Nintendo games? Wait, you didn't know you could buy digital Nintendo games? Dude, where have you been? Have the base digital and got the £80 upgrade option. Well, you shouldn't need to upgrade bullets. I'm just telling you, it's telling you here that if you have the Nintendo... Oh, I read that wrong. It's the base game. If you have the base game, you have to pay $20 to upgrade. If you have the anniversary edition, it's free. Sorry, I read that wrong. Bullets, I stand corrected. You was wrong and I was right. You see, I can admit when I made a mistake, and I apologized on Bullet's behalf that he was wrong. See, I am humble enough to be able to own up to his mistakes. What if Dovahkiin is put in a crash racing? Maybe. But this is kind of cool news because I really enjoyed what I played of Forza Horizon 5. I really should spend more time on it. It's a good game. But if they're saying that the new game is in a league of its own, that's a big statement to make. And normally we have ex-developers of Microsoft constantly crapping on them and, you know, being horrible to them. These guys are actually being positive. So, you know, they're not being paid or actually hating their life or anything. They're actually being quite truthful. So this actually, you know, if you are a Forza Horizon fanatic, this should be great news for you. Because you got ex-devs actually praising the game and not hating Microsoft like they get paid to do. Right? So what do you mean, sure, Bullets? You know what I say is true. Be humble, man. But any of Forza Horizon fanatics in here? Anyone excited for what's coming next? Yeah, no worries, Talos. I will definitely let you know. Then Greymanad, that should be great news for you. I don't know. I think Forza Horizon 6 should land within the next 6 months. Unless it gets delayed. But the next 6 months is when it's supposed to land, right? So it should be here pretty soon. If it's not shown at the TGA Awards, I suspect it is definitely going to be at the Dev Direct as one of the games they showcase. And then they'll have a deep dive later on in the thing. Or maybe they'll do a deep dive into Dev Direct. It's like the perfect time for one anyway. I've only played the Forza Horizon X across the Fast and the Furious game on Xbox 360. But I'll probably try Forza Horizon 6. Hey, if you got Game Pass, you can try 5 right now. It's that simple, man. You just click that download button and off you go. It's done. The guys don't like playing Forza so much with you because they can't. So one thing I was actually surprised about was this. I haven't seen Microsoft advertising this at all. But Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 introduces Netflix's Stranger Things expansion on December 9, and its PlayStation account is actually showcasing this. Now, the Microsoft official Flight Simulator account is also promoting this, but I didn't see the Xbox one promoting this, which is really weird. If they are, then that's great, but I didn't see it. It's a recreation of Hawkins with more than 40 iconic locations, 5 exhilarating missions. And so let's check out the trailer and see what it's like before I get demonetized. It looks kind of cool, right? Bit loud. I don't know. It's funky. Anyone gonna pick this up? Man, that guy's finished. No, PlayStation 5. They're acting like this isn't on Xbox. It is on Xbox, right, guys? This is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Sony advertising it like it's exclusive to them. It's interesting because I didn't know how it all came about, but apparently one of the leads for Microsoft Flight Simulator turned around and actually requested that they actually push this game after the success of the game being on Xbox to go to PS5, and Microsoft said, no, we're not going to do that. And then Sony apparently had been badgering Microsoft for a while for this game to be ported over to PlayStation. And Microsoft eventually caved in and said, okay, let's do it. It's interesting that Sony was the one that approached Microsoft to get this game to go over to PlayStation. But one of the big reasons why they couldn't really put it on consoles initially, especially other platforms, was the file size. And by putting it to the cloud, that's how they were able to now push it over to all other platforms. So I suspect at some point, if this isn't available on the Switch 2, it will be landing there at some point. That's what I said. Microsoft, Xbox, it's the same thing. Although this dude totally claims credit for all the games, for opening the floodgate for Xbox games to go to other platforms. So he clearly wants everyone to point the finger at him and blame him for everything. So get to it, boys. You know the drill. 380 gig, that's nothing. Have you played Call of Duty? Yeah, that's what I thought. Everyone chat goes silent. They don't have hard drives big enough for that shit. So apparently there's a rumor going around that Xbox hopes to bring backwards compatibility program to the ROG LIX and Windows PC. Now, I don't see why this is a hopes when emulation exists and it works really well. I think they can do it no problem. I already know people are using Xenia, which is a 360 emulator on the Xbox LIX, and it works great. So Microsoft has no excuses, none, to get these, even if it is through an emulated form, working on those platforms. Don't worry, Power Boss. They'll have some extra stuff to throw in there. I mean, I get the licensing issues, that's going to be a thing, but the ones that are currently working on the consoles, on the Series X, those shouldn't have those problems, and so those should go through no problem. Oh yeah, I know Power Boss. I'm just trolling. Did Phil bend a knee? Can he bend? I have no idea, tell us. I don't even know if that guy can bend. But I think this is a really cool thing. I think this is, you know, something that should have been there day one, honestly, on the Ally X. I think it was really short-sighted of them not doing something like this. If they did, I think it would have been much better received in the first place. But sadly, they didn't go down this route. They, well, see it how you will, but I think they missed a golden opportunity, as it were, to push it along and kind of glamorize the next console that bit better by officially offering support. But hey, I think this is cool. I hope it's true. And this may actually... It's interesting because I always thought that when they added, with, you know, the Xbox kind of platform onto Windows, it would be through like a virtual machine or a sandbox, much like how you got the Android emulator that's on Windows 11, or say Steam Big Picture Mode, which is kind of its own enclosed, you know, instance. So I always assumed that that would be the path that they would go down, and there's no reason why the Windows hardware can't do that and handle that perfectly fine, as well as the ROG, you know, the Xbox Ally X's. And I don't really know how powerful that Ally is. I've heard it's rather weak, to the point where the Extreme Z1 is actually more powerful than the Ally. Now, some people are saying you need to wait for another 6 months to a year for the drivers to mature. I don't want to wait 6 months to a year. I'm talking about now. And yeah, so that's quite weak. So I don't know if that will do it or not. It may do, it may not. But definitely with the Ally X, I can see it working. So I'm surprised that they didn't go down that route originally. Are 2K going to revive Perfect Dark? No. They don't have the IP. Actually, that's the point. That's the point. I mean, just look at it, right? I've got these pair of glasses, right? They're really cool. They make me look amazing, right? Let me just unbar this. Let me take these off. Now you tell me, chat, how amazing do I look in my super awesome pair of glasses? I look pretty snazzy, right? Like, this is so cool. I look amazing. I look like $1 million. All thanks to the glasses. It looks amazing, right? And then I was thinking about upgrading to the latest model of this, which is the One Pro. And then I find out, like, 2 weeks ago, they announced the X-Rail Auras, which is basically way better than everything. But they still haven't released all the stuff that I'm actually trying to buy from them, like the X-Rail Neo, which still hasn't come out, despite the fact that it was announced to release in the summer. Technology is moving so quickly that they can't actually keep up with what they've already got. It's crazy. Hey, I do not look like a blind jazz musician. But you know what? I will definitely take that over Stevie Wonder. So, at least I got that going for me. But yeah, Rachie, you're right. You're absolutely right. But I'm still waiting for like them to release the X-Rail Neos, because that acts basically as the bridge for auto-decoding any video format that's not coming out from a display out, and it will basically allow you to use your glasses and play. It would be awesome if it worked. It's supposed to work on the Switch too. That's the only way you can do it, which would be great. I really do like those glasses. They're really cool. By the time AMD catch up to Nvidia, Mate, by the time AMD catch up to Nvidia, the AI boom will be gone. You need to secure the Steam frame. You can't even buy it yet. It's not available to buy. Right? Or is it? It'll be interesting to see how much it actually is. They make you look like Clark Kent. Do you know what, Talos? That's what I want to hear. You see? I put them on. I'm Clark Kent. I take them off. I'm Super Chaos. See what I mean? Now I just need the S. And you know, my first name does start with an S, so the S definitely comes into this. There's no lies here. But as per the thumbnail, the big news of the day is what Jason Ronald said. Xbox's Jason Ronald teased big things for 2026. In fact, he said, I can't confirm or deny what you are asking, but stay tuned. We have a lot of exciting things to share next year. And so, I wanted to go over that with a little bit more of a fine comb of what they actually meant, what they were talking about. And so let's have a quick read of the article. I know it's white, it's going to blind you vehemently, but it's nothing I can do. Go blame Windows Central. They should change it from white to black. White screen should just... No, not in 2025. In a video, BBC's Tom Gherkin takes a close look at Xbox's LIX handheld, which we're going to check out that video after this, by the way. So we're going to have a look at that. Detailing the device and covering a lot of what we already know. The video offers a mix of hands-on testing, general impressions of how the gaming handheld performs across different PC titles, with the on-the-street footage showing how well it handles Game Pass, cloud gaming, and a range of Windows games. More interestingly, Jason Ronald, the VP of Xbox Gaming Devices and Ecosystem, also took the spotlight briefly to discuss the handheld and give a few small teasers about what fans can expect from Xbox next year, as it approaches its 25th anniversary. And that's a big one, right? 25 years. Like, say what you want. Being in the business for 25 years, even if it is struggling, it's still good, man. You're a quarter of the way there. He frames the current moment as the point where player behavior, industry trends, and technology finally align in a way that makes a handheld Xbox device viable for consumers. However, the most interesting comments were made when Gherkin questioned Jason directly on whether backwards compatibility will be expanded. He asked, "Child me would be so unhappy if I didn't press on this point. You know, are you going to bring more original Xbox games to Game Pass in the future?" Now, don't forget, Thomas Mueller of Moon Studios has already agreed and openly requested that he would be happy to make the next Banjo-Kazooie if Microsoft give him the license. So there's a lot of things going around right now with like potential thing. I've heard little bits about Cameo. That's why I've been kind of trolling about with Cameo, that Cameo could potentially see a revival as well, which would be really cool, by the way, because the original Cameo was awesome. And you know, there's like a few bits and bobs that are floating around that could potentially materialize from old IPs that just kind of went away. Unfortunately, Blinks isn't one of the ones I've heard anything about, and I think Blinks deserves another shot, because Blinks 2 was a travesty. Blinks 1 was amazing. Blinks 2, they just decided to make it generic, and it flopped really hard, and that's totally on Microsoft, because they're the ones that wanted it that way. But hopefully with Blinks 3, they could change that around and go back to the roots of what made the original quirky and fun, if they ever go down that route. Jason gave a fairly ambiguous response, not saying a lot, but also saying enough to give me and many others hope. And hope, my friends, is all we have. Because in the 4th episode, A New Hope, that's all it was. He further goes on to add, I can't confirm or deny what you're asking, but stay tuned. We have a lot of exciting things to share next year. It's not a lot, sure, but it's enough for me at least to have hope that we'll see some sort of expansion to backwards compatibility. And with Xbox's 25th anniversary around the corner, we might not have to wait much longer to find out. With so many Activision games now under the Xbox umbrella, that alone would make for a hefty addition if it's ever happened. And the emphasis here is if it ever happened. Right? I don't think it will. But the Activision games aside, I think next year what we're going to see, right, is early on, they're going to tease the new Xbox. I think they're going to reveal it in the summer. And call me crazy, but they could potentially release it in November next year. I'd love that, man, but didn't the guy turn around and say that that's one of the games, that and Blue Dragon is 2 games that he won't redo? They won't do it? Look, Woodpit, I know you're waiting for that 2027 and you're begging for it, but my gut is telling me, even though my gut is somewhere down here but not over here, 2026 is possible. Of course, what they're actually going to do is tease the actual Asus one next year, early next year, reveal the Asus one in the summer, and put the Asus one on sale by the end of the year. And then the following year, repeat that same cycle for their own machine. Now, obviously, the backwards compatibility system with the Asus one most likely won't be there. So the Asus one will just be your generic PC with a branded PC case that's going to be Xbox, launching with the whole setup for full screen experience all set up and running and ready to go. Whereas the official Xbox One will probably have the backwards compatibility running on the Magnus chip. Yeah, Chris, I know that. And this is why there are plenty of banks out there ripe for the picking. So get your balaclava, get your pellets, and do what you need to do. And just keep telling yourself that no matter the consequence, it will be worth it. Totally don't do what I just said. It is a really bad idea. I know someone in the chat is probably going to be saying, oh no, look what Chaos said. Yeah, don't do that. It's a joke. I think they would have teased it already if it was coming in 2026. Nah, it's too early. It's too early, Woodpit. What you want to do in marketing is build momentum, not announce something for everyone to forget about and move on. I mean, just look how people just kind of now brush over what they revealed in the summer with the whole AMD CEO and Sarah Bond. It's kind of like a footnote now. What you want to do in marketing is drip feed it through the year to keep that momentum going and announce it during the year it's releasing. So announcing it sometime during like February, March would be a great time to tease the new console. Why is that? Because their stock prices will skyrocket and the value of Microsoft will go through the roof, right? Right before the financial end of the year. That's like the perfect time to tease the next generation console. Going into then the summer is a perfect time to announce, you know, to reveal the next generation console. Everyone's going to be super hyped for it, ready to start saving up for that holiday spree. Come November, you splash your cash, get your console. That's like the perfect scenario. You're winning the lottery tomorrow? What if you do? Don't forget about me, Chris. I'm totally worth it. Yeah, it's right at the end of the year. So it kind of it matches up. You know, it's literally at the tail end of December. So it makes sense. The reason why I don't think it will be at the Game Awards is because Jeff Keighley felt blindsided and betrayed by Microsoft that they pulled this one over him. Microsoft didn't tell Jeff Keighley that this was going to be announced or revealed in the video that they announced, that they showed with Hellblade, right? They didn't actually tell them, and they felt betrayed and lied to because they wanted to charge Microsoft more money to show that video. They want to charge Microsoft way more money, right? So this is why I don't think they'll do it on Jeff Keighley's show. Do you know what, Christos? There's more chance of you sending me that 5090 than me getting the one promised from Steve. So let's do it. Steve, if you're watching, I love you, man. Don't get arrested in Monaco drinking. Man, I was watching a YouTube video today about people who squandered all of their winnings in a matter of 6 months. Like, some people won like $6 million, £6 million, and they wasted all of it in a matter of 6 months. Man, that is crazy. Where's Fable? Man, Fable's a myth. And you know what? Since he's not here, I'll say it for him. Fable's cancelled. It's not really, though. But that's what Steve would say. But Fable's a myth. It will be here when it is. And until then, nobody knows. I do know that they had some trouble with IDOS. Because IDOS is a support studio. There's a support studio in IDOS helping them. And they obviously are having crazy internal problems over at IDOS, which obviously has impacted development for Fable. But we don't know the extent of what that difficulty is or what the delay could potentially be. There's talks of Fable being pushed all the way to 2027. So they'll announce something when they do. But in my opinion, you know, Fable should talk about it, because they've just cancelled games out of the blue quite a lot this year, where they've said, hey man, this game looks amazing. I played Everwild and it was great. I even played Perfect Dark and it was great. And then you find out there actually isn't even a game that they were playing. So then there's the other side of things where they just lie all the time at certain points to appease the audience. So can't really take what they say with any certainty. But then again, this is all platform holders, so that's how business works. I don't think it's in trouble. I just think whatever's happening at IDOS is clearly impacting them. I wouldn't call that trouble, but if there's problems over at IDOS, which there is, because they're laying off people left, right, and center, closing studios, canceling games, projects being removed, you know, that's going to have a knock-on effect for anyone else that's part of that structure. So it's not so much it being in trouble, it just means that it's going to take a little longer to get everything up and running. And if there's people that have been removed from the project, those people need to be replaced. And even if they are replaced by Microsoft internally, by internal hires, they still need to be trained and onboarded, which on its own can take up to 6 months, right? But if it's a system that people know, which is why they're generally going with Unreal, then that can definitely cut down to like 2 months of onboarding properly onto what they want. But it's still going to take some time. Those people that are onboarding that person will also lose development time. So when you calculate all the development time lost, essentially, you're looking at about 6 months. So it's going to have an impact, but I wouldn't say it's in trouble. It's just how it works. The problem is, Game on Jesse, if they say something, the community were going to destroy them. If they don't say nothing, the community are just going to make up rumors and speculation and go off on whatever they want, but they don't have to listen or do anything about it because they don't care. But if they show something or do something or, you know, represent something and then the finished product isn't exactly like that, oh my god, that puddle there isn't reflecting with ray tracing, the community is going to go mental. So you also have that perspective as well, because the community are their worst enemy. They always turn around and create problems and hate on things. And I'm not saying we're like that or you're like that or anyone in this chat is like that, but the reality is, you see a trailer, the first thing you want to do, that people do in general, is shit on it. They want to hate on it. They want to find anything that they possibly can find to make it sound bad. And then they start mocking it and belittling it. And then basically you start a trend going on how bad this game is and no one's going to buy it. Some games deserve it, but there are games that don't deserve it, and it happens. So, you know, I think the best analogy I can use is when a developer comes out, and developers don't normally like going into the, you know, the front-facing, you know, position to talk to people, even if it is on social media. And while the good is good, they're talking to you, it's all great. When the shit hits the fan, as the proverbial saying goes, they are there until people turn toxic, and then they just go away, right? Because they don't, that's not their job. And the problem is, at that point, that person that you know, people have scared away is never coming back to talk to you again. So it's a double-edged sword, and, you know, the responsibility is on both sides, you know, both the gaming side to deliver something that's, and show something that's acceptable. But at the same time, if it's a work in progress, people have to understand that it's a work in progress and changes are likely to be made. Right? I don't know if it's Unreal Engine, Crystals. I was just using that as an example of how the reason why Microsoft is heavily investing and doing their games with Unreal Engine is because of the amount of, is because of their contract structure, where they employ freelancers for 18 months and then they can't extend their contract past that. And if it takes 2 months, 3 months to onboard someone, they've already lost, like, you know, 1/5, 1/6 of their time at the company on nothing before they even start developing. In the past, if it's a bespoke engine that they've never worked on, it can take up to 6 months for them to get fully onboarded and comfortable with the thing. That means they only have 12 months to actually work on the project before they have to leave, and another person comes in who might not know what the hell they're doing, and that's another 6 months on there to onboard. It takes time, and that's why I would use Unreal as an example with my story. Never say to an Austrian dude that their video games suck because something interesting could happen. Right, any Austrians in chat? Your game sucks. I have no idea what game we're talking about, but your game sucks. Anyone? Anyone at all? Hey, Wacko Games. Yeah, we just covered that story. Forza Horizon is going to be the real deal, man. Why can't they rehire the same people, Woodpit? They cannot. It's company policy. So, in order to stop, so basically, when you get contractors in, hey, Ricktone, damn, long time no see, Ricktone. Welcome back, dude. When you hire freelancers, they don't go in your fixed cost, right? They go into your variable cost. And what companies love to do in order to hide costs and hide, you know, expenses, is they bring in freelancers that are doing the job that, number one, don't have full-time contracts, so they don't have to give them any royalties or stuff like that. And so those costs then essentially go straight into the variable cost. So on paper, it just kind of goes into one bucket, right? Like your gas, electric, maintenance, all of that for the building, that all goes under a variable cost, right? Because it's not a fixed cost. Salaries are fixed cost. So that's one reason why they bring contractors in. Why they can't keep those contractors in is because the government puts legislation in place to stop you from keeping freelancers for 20 years because you need to make them permanent staff. So by Microsoft going as far as they can go within that 18 months, they get rid of them, and so they can't rehire them for 6 months for that reason. Here in the UK, EA do exactly the same thing. They employ you for 11 months, they let you go on the 12th month, and then they rehire you on the 13th month. In the UK, it's only 1 month, and I think they're extending that to 2 months now. But that's the rules here. Like, if you're hired on a temporary basis, on a temporary contract, they can keep you going up until the 11th month. The moment you hit the 12th month, you automatically become a statutory full-time employee. So EA basically let you go on the 11th month, so you're unemployed, and then they bring you back a month later as a new employee. No, you can't treat them like employees, Susano. And that's why it's done that way. They rather their games bombed and change hiring process. I don't think it's that simple. I mean, logic would dictate that changing your hiring process is the smart thing to do, but it would probably have a much wider impact. And I'm guessing in the US, 18 months is more a cultural thing, depending on the state you're in. Here in the UK, it never used to be like that, but we incorporate so many of the bad practices of the US that it's become really, bad in the games industry here, or in other industries. Like the 0 hour never existed here, but that was something that the UK incorporated from the US and brought it to the UK. And it's 0 hour contracts are by far the worst, and one of the main reasons why I couldn't go back to the games industry, because there is zero job security there at all. I don't know how people on 0 hour contracts actually maintain it, man. That's so scary that you could drop down to 0 hours for that whole month with like 24 hours notice. Blade trailer would be nice, but I don't think we're going to get that. Yeah, 0 hour contracts suck. When I was Sega, they were only just introducing them because it was coming from Sega of America, and that is something that they were mandating, even though they didn't really have much power because Sega of America got gutted like crazy. But they were doing a lot of the... They had some impact over there, and yeah, once that started to come into Sega in the UK, people dropped like flies, man. The amount of people that were leaving because of either A, just low income, or B, 0 hour contracts. Like, I remember someone, listen to this, right? This is how weird and crazy it was. So we had an employee who worked in the standards department, right? He was amazing. He'd done crazy hours. His work was faultless, right? And his visa was running out. But he was on a 3-month contract. And obviously here in the UK at the time, probably the same thing in the US, you can't get a visa for a 3-month contract. You need to have a full-time, enrollment. And so he went and said, look, my stuff here is exemplary. And no one had a problem with him. He was great. He was one of the best staff there, right? He was one of the best employees there, hands down. He was amazing. He was everywhere. Really nice guy, everything. And Sega of Europe at the time said, we can't actually do it. So they had to send that information to Japan. Japan basically never met the guy, has no records of who he is, what work he does, or anything, because they don't care. And they said no. And so he had to remain on a 3-month contract, and they lost him. The amount of good people that these gaming companies lose because of these stupid contracts that they have in place, these stupid policies, is surreal. And that's why you get broken games. And that's why you get really bad QA. And that's why you just don't get the games the way they're supposed to be. Because the really good people end up having to leave. I wouldn't have left Sega if they were giving me, you know, paying me what I was worth. But Sega of Japan, to be fair, didn't care. They just said there's more people in the pool. Game on Jesse, they had loads available last year. I mean, did they have loads? I mean, they showed a lot of like games that were coming, but I can't remember if they had loads. I remember there was loads of games on Xbox, but whether it was like specifically for that, I don't. In that case, I don't know. UK is in chaos over digital ID. No. I mean, I remember hearing about it in Discord once, and I've not heard anything about it again. So I don't. If it is, it's the lowest. It's the most quietest chaos there's ever been ever. Are games developers as good now as they were 15 years ago? They're probably better now. The problem is how they're treated, right? How they're respected, and company morale is really important, right? You know, people just want to be recognized and respected today. I also think there's a whole load of people just, you know, riding that bandwagon when it comes to all sorts of things, trying to get away with whatever they can because they can. But I feel that, you know, with the way we have progressed today and where we are in 2025, the level of appreciation isn't there. And that's a big problem because people want to be appreciated. People want to be, you know, even if it's just a job well done, it makes that person think. But everyone is seen as a number today. So especially in the games industry where everything is just work. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like you see these developers all cheering and parading around like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's not like that at all. And that's a thing. So, yeah. Well, but yeah, it is a bottom line. And that's what it really comes to, really. But here is the video that people were BBC was talking about. It's not long, it's like 6 minutes, and I thought we could check it out. Is Microsoft's first ever handheld Xbox console worth the wait? And this was our BBC News. I haven't seen it. It could be a whole load of crap, but let's check it out.
I'm an Xboxer, and this is an Xbox. So is this, and this, and this, and this
is an Xbox. Well, apparently.
Ever since the first Xbox launched in 2001, rumours have swirled about a hypothetical handheld Microsoft console which would let you play your games on the go. Now, it's finally here. The Asus ROG Xbox Ally, what a name by the way, has been released worldwide, putting an end to more than 2 decades of speculation.
You know, legend has it that we're trying to compete with Capcom for their long Street Fighter names. I still think Capcom wins it with the Dead Rising 3 version, but Xbox came close. Give them credit for that. Not the Xboxer ad. Hey man, I thought you guys were all Xboxers. I see all of you on social media. I don't see any of you on social media, but I see so many on that thing going, I'm an Xboxer, and I'm like, what the f you talking about? You know, sometimes you just need Sopranos to just be real life.
And now that I finally got it in my hands, let me tell you what it's like.
It all feels quite good.
The sticks are nice and solid. The D-pad is perhaps a little bit plasticky, but that's okay, as are the face buttons. They do have a nice click to them. So too do the bumpers. The triggers feel really nice in the hands. It's got these nice little back
I know
buttons
you,
as well.
Susanna.
These grips, as well as the way
I
the
know
weight
you.
is distributed, means that even though it is a bit heavy, it actually doesn't necessarily feel that way. And of course, the screen is really nice and really vibrant. Enough of that.
So my question for you guys, right? Do you think that the screen on the Xbox LIX would have been better if it was 8 inches? There is a lot of joke that can be had there. I'm not going there. I'm just saying, would the extra inch matter? Look, I'm trying to keep it clean. Stop it, Grey Manad. Stop it. Bad, Grey. Bad. The sticks are very sticky. What have you been doing to your sticks? Too much tugging may do that. Would it? That's what Big Bad Mo? Bad. Bad. Bad Big Bad. I don't know, like these black bezels up top, I would much rather be the screen. I know they want the ROG down here, but they can put that ROG anywhere, right? That could be anywhere on this handheld. I just think it could... I don't know. I think 8-inch would have been really nice. Right? I think 8 inches is just the perfect size. No one would ever complain. No one would have any issues. It seems to be the perfect fit. I'm just going to continue with the video now.
Be vibrant. Enough of that. This is a portable Xbox. Let's take it outside.
Man, if it was walking like that in the streets, he'd get mugged in like 10 seconds. Man's crazy. He's only able to do that because he's got all the people around him as security. He thinks he can flash about like that with that machine. He crazy. Stop it, Craven Adam.
If you're like me, you've probably accrued quite a lot of PC games over the years that you haven't played. Well, this handheld Xbox is running Windows, so it'll play basically anything that works on your PC. Although, if I'm really honest, I've spent most of my time just playing Persona. Compare that to a game like Baldur's Gate 3, which came out a couple of years ago. Well, this one doesn't quite work so well. I actually had to turn the settings all the way down to the lowest possible to make it even work properly on this thing. Not all games are optimized right.
Let's do this.
See, and that is one thing that I think Steam has going for it, that Microsoft needs to instill in developers. I think this is something that Microsoft really needs to do a lot of work in and really push developers. Because you know how now you're getting developers specifically trying to make sure that the game hits that Steam Deck standard, right? And that's what developers are going for. That right now is the aimed standard. What Microsoft wants to do is to get it to be running on this at the standard. I get it, if it's running on the Steam Deck, it will run great on here. But what you want them, what Microsoft wants them to do is to turn the table round and make the Xbox LIX the standard, or the Ally, at the very least the Ally. That probably makes more sense, where the LIX is going to perform better. The Ally should be the standard that developers are developing for, because the Ally is more powerful than the Steam Deck. Only just from what I hear, but it's still more powerful. That's what Microsoft really wants to do, and they're not. I don't really see them pushing for that. And as long as they don't upgrade this version for the next 2 years, 3 years, that would work. But if next year they announce an Xbox Ally 2 and an Xbox Ally X2, then that notion completely goes out the window. The reason why the Steam Deck can do that is because it's been here for 3 years and it's likely to hit the 4th year. Valve isn't interested in releasing tiny iterations every year. So if that is the way if Microsoft really wants this to be center stage, that would be something that they would need to do.
But with so many games running so well, the obvious question is, why hasn't Xbox tried this before?
It's a good
Have
question.
there been efforts in the past to do this? 20 years of people asking, you must have at some point tried to do it before. Why didn't it work in the past? Why did it work now where it might not have done before?
Is there anything in his room that we can gauge? What background is that even?
Yeah, to your point, we're always thinking about what the future of gaming is and new ways for people to be able to play. So when we really started looking this time of re-entering the handheld space, we really looked at all of those dynamics, player behaviors, where the industry is going, where the technology landscape is, and even just how games are built. And now felt like the right time to really enter into this category.
And this category, handheld game consoles, is particularly busy.
We've already had the Nintendo Switch, one of the best-selling consoles in history, and we're on to the Switch 2. Why you'd get a Nintendo console over an Xbox One? Probably play Nintendo games like Pokemon's running there. And it's not the only console that can play PC games either. Valve put out the Steam Deck a few years ago, and that can play games from your big Steam library too, although it can't play games on Game Pass, at least not easily. And there's another player in town too. Sony has the PlayStation Portal, which allows you to play games directly from a PS5 you already own, or that big library of games you got on PlayStation Plus, their own cloud gaming offering. In short, there's a lot of rivals in the space.
And back in the great outdoors with the ROG Xbox Ally X.
The thing that this really excels at is Game Pass, Microsoft's cloud gaming service. Basically, you pay a monthly fee, you get access to hundreds of games without having to buy them individually. It's like Netflix, but for video games.
And that's their real unique selling point, right? That is Microsoft's real big push with the Windows handhelds. Now, something that you've got with the Lenovo handhelds and all the others, what Microsoft needs to do is take what they can do right now, because all the others can have Game Pass as well, because they're Windows. But they want people to make this the de facto model that they make sure the games work on. That will add immense value to the hardware. You managed to keep his purity till the edge of... He's not really comparing the devices like that, Power Boss. He's saying that there's a lot of competition out there in the same space. If Netflix buys Warner Bros., Game Pass will have more competition for streaming services, with all of Warner Bros. Games going to Netflix games. But they're still, at that point, the CMA will probably step in, or someone will step in and say, hey, you can't do that. You can't have a monopoly on it, just like they did for Xbox, unless that only applies to Xbox, which it probably does. Liverpool beat Inter. Oh, is it your birthday today, Gorsty? If it is, happy birthday, man. Where's my super chat to celebrate your birthday?
I'm actually right now playing a game which I've connected to by tethering this to my phone. I'm playing this over the internet. That's pretty cool.
Happy birthday, my friend.
And you can play all sorts of games on Game Pass, not just new ones, but titles as old as the original Xbox console too.
Great games are timeless, and I think we not only feel a need, but also a responsibility to preserve the games from the past and enable them to be played in entirely new ways.
Any chance, just for child me, would be so unhappy if I didn't press you on this point, you know. Are you going to bring more original Xbox games to Game Pass in the future?
So what I will say is I can't announce anything today, but in 2026, it's the 25th anniversary of Xbox, and we want to celebrate the great legacy and the history that we have with Xbox, as well as defining the future for where the Xbox ecosystem's going. So I can't confirm or deny what you're asking, but stay tuned. We have a lot of exciting things to share next year.
But not everyone's excited.
So there you have it. Really cool stuff that's coming to Xbox next year, and I think there's going to be a lot of big announcements next year when it comes to the 25th anniversary. I reckon they'll release a 25th anniversary console, so expect that, a Series X. Actually, I'm not sure if they'll bother with it. But if they do, I'm hoping it's nice, at least like a mantelpiece or something, or maybe in a nice wrap. Do you remember the wraps that they said they were going to start making? What happened to that? Shadow of Mordor plus Hogwarts Legacy? No, Warner Brothers have a lot of games, but Netflix have already said they don't care for the gaming IPs of Warner Brothers. They said they're useless and trash and they don't want them. They don't care for them. That's what Netflix said. They only care for the movie rights. So it looks like Netflix is happy to give those to other people or sell them off if they buy it. All Netflix want is the movie rights, the video rights. That's what they want with Warner Brothers. They don't care for the gaming side. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. But yeah, Netflix made that announcement today. It would be funny if a bird flew past and... Hey, in some cultures, that's regarded as a good luck, Telos. Well, there was a number of people that they were interested in, right? Warner Brothers probably wasn't their first choice. But after seeing the value that Warner Brothers can bring them, I guess it's especially on the movie side, the TV side, it's definitely one thing that they want now. Honestly, I don't know if Microsoft can actually pick anyone up at the moment without increased scrutiny. Anyone else trying to buy a studio is going to be fine, but if Microsoft tries to buy them, it's gonna have all laser eyes on it. Paramount is trying to get it. They've got Trump's backing as well, apparently, in order to move in, which I think is crazy, by the way. But apparently, there's been a lot of tug and pull and influence shifting going along with that. So
Critics have pointed out Windows doesn't always work properly. There are mixed opinions about how the controller feels, and as I said earlier, some of the most demanding games simply don't run very well, and that's before you get into the numbers.
Okay, so this thing works great as a portable handheld. You would expect it to, though, considering it costs quite a bit of money. It's $600 for the basic version, or if you want this, the version with all the extra power, that's a full $999.99.
Wait, why the hell is he using dollars? He's in the UK. Am I missing something here? Why is he using dollars when we're in the UK? It's $4.99 and $7.99. This makes no sense. This makes no sense.
It's not a cheap thing to buy.
And it's got another trick up its sleeve. You can plug it into ASUS's Bulwark dock and use it just like a PC.
Because it's now docked, it's connected to this monitor as well as this keyboard and mouse, which means I can actually play the game on a big screen. And it doesn't just have to be on a PC with a keyboard and mouse game. You can do this in the living room as well, and you can control a game with a handheld controller, which means that this thing actually gives you quite a lot of options. It's not just a handheld PC.
It may have taken 20 years, but after such a long wait, Microsoft's created something its rivals simply can't. The first handheld Xbox,
What the hell is
which
he
is
doing?
actually quite a decent Windows PC.
I had no idea what it was doing at the end, but it looked weird. Leaf, that's a good question. It's not available to buy, and I hear it won't be available until next year, February. And that's if you're lucky. Jared Kushner, I have no idea who that is, I'm afraid. Maybe I should, but I don't know who he is. It's an Xbox ad. It doesn't need to. He doesn't have a van, does he? Oh no, that's only over in the Midlands. What, the Ally X? Yeah, it's been out of stock since launch. They've had pockets of stock coming in here and there, but they sell out within like 2 minutes. It's been out. It's essentially been out of stock since launch. Oh, that's Trump's son-in-law, right? Yeah, I'm not cleared up on the US politics. I just know what I'm reading, and that's it. But yeah, man, Jesse, it's out. It's been sold out since launch, and when they come in, Midlands really is just Liverpool. You can't find it. I just think Microsoft can't supply enough stock, or Asus can't supply enough stock. Whichever way it is, there's no stock. Honestly, I think Microsoft has a hate boner for the UK, especially after the way the CMA treated them, and I don't blame them for that, because what the CMA did was bang out of order. But the CMA also know what they did, and they did it deliberately, not because of competition, not because of regulation, but the CMA did what they did to prove to the world that they are a strong regulatory force within the global world, and that they could make Microsoft bend the knee, and that is exactly what they did, right? In fact, in their final report, they wrote that they were the only regulatory body to get Microsoft to, you know, bend to their will and agree to their concessions. No other regulatory body. This was in their final report. You can read it. So when you've got the CMA actively turning around, Sarah Cardell, making those forms of statements, you can clearly see that this whole thing was politically engineered and not competition engineered. The whole cloud gaming going to Ubisoft had nothing to do with competition. It was just the UK trying to stick their foot in and show the world that we are here. And after that, Microsoft pretty much pulled out of the UK quite aggressively in terms of marketing, in terms of advertising. Pretty much everything came out of the UK. They're still here in name, but that's about it. There's nothing else here. All their marketing budgets and stuff were slashed to peanuts. So I do think that the FTC ruling really, really left a sour note with Microsoft in the UK. And yeah, the thing. Ghosty, I'm checking every day at Curry's and I can't find any, man. It must have been like at a time when I wasn't looking. I've been checking every single day. But yeah, so I do think that Microsoft as a corporation definitely has a massive problem with the UK. And like I said, honestly, I don't blame them. I literally don't, because what Sarah Cardell did should have been classified as illegal. They blocked it just for the sake of blocking it, not for any competition reason. The whole thing was weird, man. The whole thing was weird. I mean, do you remember Jacqueline Corley turned around and asked the FTC rep at the time when she said, I've been listening to you for the past 3 hours and you've cited Sony as Sony as protection. over 70 times, but not mentioned the word consumer once. And that's when they turned around and changed their tune and said, well, you know, we do mean the consumer when we say that. And she turned around and said, no, you're clearly talking about PlayStation. Sony PlayStation. And, you know, they got red-faced right there and then. So the whole situation was weird. No one wanted this to go through. And I think, honestly, Microsoft just gave up way too much for it anyway, and it sent them down the path that they're in. But at the same time, Microsoft didn't have a choice. If they didn't do this acquisition, Xbox would probably have disappeared. They would have shut down. So it was the better, you know, it was the best of two evils. They kind of needed the money coming from ABK in order to keep Xbox afloat, because the numbers don't lie. Right? The numbers literally don't lie. They were making a deficit. We could always make our own global tech giant. run by the Templars, yeah, Banisher? The Templars all the way, right? Gotta bring the Templars all the way, yeah? I mean, that deal's over. Sanchez, she still comments on it every now and then, but no one cares outside of the PlayStation fans. The court pretty much dismissed the preliminary injunction, and that was that. Literally went on there and they had stock. 15 minutes later, it says sold out. Yeah. I mean, if I pick it up, Ghosty, it's going to be on finance. If they actually accept me. So there's even that. I can't pay for it in cash. I don't have that level of money to be able to splash out at the moment after splashing out on my new shiny TV, which I am happy about. I'm smoking crack. Mate, the numbers don't lie. I'm not saying Microsoft would have folded. I'm saying Xbox would have probably folded. Microsoft has way too much money. A dwarf and is kills me a dwarf? No, I am no dwarf. I am 5'9". But welcome, Mark. Nice to see you here. But no, I don't do drugs. Any drugs. I don't actually think I've ever done drugs. Maybe I haven't lived yet. Self-reflection is a wonderful thing, bullets. But a lot of people are talking about Rockstar and their, you know, what's happening. Some people have got their free upgrade. Some people haven't. But Rockstar is asking users to wait another 5 days to fix free upgrade issue for Red Dead Redemption on Xbox. Messaged the user on Reddit. So if you haven't got your upgrade, wait for another 5 days and hopefully it'll be sorted. I mean, okay, great, Manad, if you're gonna get technical, then yeah, I guess so. But I've not had any of the, you know, recreational drugs that people take. I feel like Microsoft makes too many similar RPGs. Microsoft just makes Western RPGs, right? And Western RPGs are all the same. If you've played one, you've kind of played them all. They don't really differentiate. They're all kind of following the same vein, the same formula. So, in that sense, I can see what you mean, Jesse. We have way too many Jessies in this chat. We've got Jesse Darby, we've got Game on Jesse, we've got Jesse James Guns. Yes, I'm going to have to start calling people different things. So, Game on Jesse, I'll keep as Jesse. Jesse James, I'll call you James. and Jesse Darby, I'll call you Darby. Just so you guys know who I'm talking to. It's alright, Sony would abandon PlayStation before Microsoft ever folds. I mean, Jesse James is a cowboy. I'm not disputing any of that. I'm just looking at the numbers and going by what the numbers are saying. With ABK, Microsoft, with, you know, when they actually showed their two numbers together, it was showing that the money that Xbox had actually made was in a negative, but it was propelled to a positive through ABK. I'm just going by the numbers, man. I'm not saying one way or another. They needed ABK. It wasn't working for them. Do you get the Undead Nightmares free with the upgrade? Apparently you do. Banisher, that's a very fair critique with JRPGs. I think what you need is a mixed blend of different styles of RPGs to work it through, and that, you know, having a diverse range of RPGs is the best way. But it seems if you want to go JRPG, you go one way. If you want to go Western RPG, you go the other way. There's nothing that actually meets them in the middle, where they say, hey, here's a mixture set of RPGs. But hey, JRPGs have the waifus, that they win. Okay, I'll call you JD then. That works for me too. Don't you dare. You know, wow, Western RPGs had any good waifus? Yeah, I know, man. What is Claire Obscure, Western or J? I'd say that's more J. Western RPG is very kind of specific, right? It's more like, I mean, you can say it's a FRPG, but realistically, it falls under the JRPG moniker because they openly said that they took a lot of influence from the JRPGs when they were making the game. But Western RPGs are kind of set in their ways. Whether it's their combat, the magic, the level design, the upgrade path, it all kind of follows a very similar kind of structure to it. Look, man, I swear to God, new software updates are piss off Norton. I'm gonna have to get rid of Norton, or just tell it to stop alerting me with anything. All I wanted it was for the VPN. Yeah, exactly, Ghosty. But if you had to categorize it between one or the other, you'd categorize it more as a JRPG than a Western RPG. Let's call it a Europig, yeah? Hey man, we all know Spider-Man is an RPG, right? So let's just stick with that. Let's have Spider-Man RPG. That be the middle ground. That be kind of like the cornerstone we start from, and let's take off from there. Dark Souls play like any Western RPG. Mate, Minesweeper is a Souls game. That is brutal. That game just rips you to pieces. Power Wash is an RPG? Power Washing. Let's call it Japopi. Oh, guys. Chat, we are 73 likes away from my goal of hitting 100 likes today. You can do it. If you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. Peppa Pig is a Souls game, mate, because no one ain't... You don't want anyone seeing you playing that. And the moment you do, you're going to be playing that blindfolded shit. TV off and everything. You're going to be fighting off those bosses and those levels with a blindfold on. I don't know what I play. But yeah, if you are after the update, hopefully in the next 5 days, you'll get what you're looking for. Hey, I ain't playing no Peppa Pig. Are you crazy? Alright, so for you Marvel Rivals lovers out there, it looks like Rogue is a Vanguard and her first skin is Savage Land. For those of you that are playing Marvel Rivals, and Marvel Rivals is never going to escape the allegations that it's going full Gooner or has gone full Gooner, you are going to get the Rogue on the right as opposed to the Rogue on the left. Or Rouge, however you want to pronounce it. So, how many people are excited for the new character skin? Chris, if I could get my son off Roblox, I'd probably play those games with them as well. But they ain't never going to get off those games. Well then, if Spider-Man's an RPG, does that mean State of Decay 2 is an RPG? Because it's got a little bits like Spider-Man and God of War. Yeah, man, God of War's an RPG, Spider-Man's an RPG, State of Decay is an RPG. Is that painted on? So, who's going to be buying this new skin? Because I think Marvel Rivals is about to make a lot of money. Jay Barry was up there day one saying, yep, this is mine. I'm reposting this shit. I'm buying this day one. So we already know that they're making one sale. But are any of you going to buy this? But I know what you're thinking, right? Like, the in-game character might look totally different. And you're absolutely correct. So here is what the character looks like. Do you think this is gonna make big bucks? Yeah, I think the modern audiences Vin also doesn't play Marvel Rivals. The based audience plays Marvel Rivals. It's going to sell big. Mate, these people know exactly what they're doing. They know what the audience wants. And they know exactly how to make sure they throw the hook, get the hit, reel it in, and go. That's no longer right. But yeah, so they clearly know their audience, right? They clearly know their audience and they know exactly what they're looking for. As we heard earlier today, Todd Howard is going to be present and will do an award on Thursday night at the Game Awards. Mr. Howard will come on there and say it just works and the whole presentation is going to collapse and the stream's going to go offline. Oh god, how much I would love to see that. Leaf, I know, but they could have used anything else, right? They had the choice to go with anything else. Right? I'm just saying they could have went with anything. Oh, what's this upcoming game trailer? Oh, that's interesting. We'll check that out. Yeah, I know that one exists. I'm just saying that they could have went with anything, but they know what their audience wants. And they've openly said that they're not really, they're going to be pulling designs from what's available there. And Bruno sent me, Bruno the Pony sent me PlayStation 5 official upcoming games in 2026 trailer. So that's interesting. I wonder if GTA is going to be in there. It is, Ghosty. It is. But hey, they haven't reached the levels of First Descendant yet, so they still have a ways to go. Oh yeah, Leaf. It's going to get people wanting to come back. People are going to want to buy it. Look, no matter what people say, it sells, right? People can talk about diversity, this and all of that. It's clear that having a non-attractive female as the main protagonist versus an attractive one, the sales speak for themselves. Skins speak for themselves. It sells, right? There's just no two ways about it, and companies like money. Look at Microsoft. They've even stopped talking about their whole diversity department in their board meetings, their earnings calls now. They don't even categorize it. They just skip over it because they don't want to bring it to the limelight because it just has such a negative aura about it now. So, it's just a thing. When you're watching a car ad, you don't see, unattractive people on there. It's always attractive until recently. And now the car manufacturers are losing sales. So it is what it is. But, Leaf, that's why they do it, because they want money. And guess what? Companies like money. Remember the woman behind the 30% profit margin at Xbox? She is the same that was full on. I didn't know she was. You're talking about Amy Hood. But it doesn't surprise me. Not in the slightest. But Sony did a boo-boo. Sony did a boo-boo because they revealed the picture for Resident Evil 9. And it looks like Leon Kennedy is going to be in there. So that's kind of cool. So it's not just going to be Ash. It's going to be Leon as well. I wonder if, what's his name? Chris is going to be in the new Resident Evil Requiem. Do you think we'll see Ada Wong? I'm kind of excited for this game. I really should sit down and play Resident Evil 4, but I got Silent Hill 2 to get through first. Maybe after Chronos. I don't know. We'll see. And I should be finishing Chronos tomorrow, maybe, with a bit of luck. So for those of you that want to check that out, feel free to stop by tomorrow for the stream. I just need to finish it at this point. It needs to be done. So if I don't stream tomorrow, I'm going to finish it offline. But people have been watching it since the beginning, so I'd rather finish it on stream. I don't think people will be interested to watch Expedition 33. I don't know. It's an old game now, but then again, so is Silent Hill. But you know, I'm enjoying E33 a lot, and I'm playing through it slowly. But yeah, Sony did a boo-boo. They released this accidentally. People picked up the screenshot immediately as soon as they did. Man, I don't even know how people managed to come across these things. Like, they must be camping that shit out like crazy. Hey, Chronos is a good game. I created a whole new language with that game. At some point, you could have assumed I had Tourette's. My language building skills was pretty on point so far with that game. At this point, I don't know what it is, what people want to watch outside of me suffering. All right, I need to know, like, without all the BS, without all the trolling, without all anything, right? I need to know if this is really true, because it was for the earlier models of the PS5. I need to know if this was true now, because apparently leaving your PS5 standing upright will make the liquid metal dry, like really, like sooner than it would if it was flat. But apparently liquid metal dries up anyway, and you're going to have to take it in for repair at some point. Now, I need to know if there is any truth to this, or if this person is just doing it for the sake of kicks and giggles, without any of the biasness, the trollness, or I hate PlayStation-ness, because I don't want my PS5 Pro to die. I only paid $100, but I don't want it to die. Hey, I know the words that were coming out. I just can't decipher them. What if basically he's her commanding officer? I mean, that's possible, JD. Yeah, JD. That was my thing, Ghosty. I mean, it could work, and if everything is voiced, I mean, it could work if everything is voiced, right? But if it's not voiced, then that might be a problem. Yeah, so they've used liquid metal instead of thermal paste. But I need to... What I'm asking here is a genuinely serious question. Should I keep my machine vertical or horizontal? So what you're saying is keep it horizontal. I don't know enough about liquid metal, and I don't know enough about this problem. I know it was there with the original devices, and it dried up like hell real quick. And as you can see here, right? It's dry as hell. And that's the problem it's having. It's really dry. Yeah. Where I've got my like TV cabinet, I put it like there's a little alcove on the right, so my Series X and my PS5 have got in both vertical. But I may have to change that because you know, I don't want it dying. You know, when you're saying Golium, I was actually reading Gollum. That's what Leaf has done to me now. That's some dust. That kind of sucks. I don't want my consoles to die. They're supposed to last a while. But if that is what it is, it's going to have to go in for repair eventually. It will fall at the lowest point, right? Well, we will find out. So what did the pony send me? I've been sent a 1 minute, 2 minute video by a mysterious pony. So let's check it out. Yeah, I do not like the design of the PS5. I think it's horrible. It has to be a special occasion, Sanchez. It has to be a special occasion. And I have played it once before. It was a horrible experience, I might add. My graphics card could barely handle the graphics at max resolution. Way too demanding for my 3090 Ti. Alright, so let's check this one out. Upcoming games in 2026. Okay, so we've got Tokon. I think this is the only screen that's really interesting. Pragmata is going to be on multiplat, and then these three are probably going to be exclusive to PlayStation. But there's no GTA 6 here. That's a very big omission, right? Is it because, I mean, they have a trailer already available, so they could have used that. So, do you think GTA 6 is going to 2027? Going next gen?
360 best looking console but the worst thermals, disappointed face emoji.
Hey, did that work? Did you guys hear that? Nice, it worked. Thank you. Thank you for the $2 super chat, my dude. Yeah, the free. See, for me, the 360 was a great design, but I much like the Xbox One X design. That was really clean. The One X and the Series X design is just beautiful. I don't know what it is, but it's just really simple, clean, and its design is just, I think, is just right. But the Xbox One X design, especially the Scorpio, where it had Scorpio written on it, that was just sublime. For me, those two are the best. For me, the 360 design, it was definitely a great design, but that for me comes third. But I do not like the PS5 design. I think it's ugly as hell, and it just, I don't know. But yeah, so this is kind of interesting that Sony's official upcoming games in 2026 trailer is with no GTA 6. You would think that GTA 6 would be at the center of this. But either A, Sony has no faith, no trust that they're going to release GTA 6 next year, or they know that it's not coming. You reckon Wolverine's going to flop? I reckon it's going to sell somewhere in the first week. I think it will sell over 5 million. That's going to sell over 5 million. I think this will sell maybe in the first week. If it reaches 2 million, I think it will hit its targets. Saros will be somewhere between 500k to 1 million, I'm guessing. This one is an enigma for me because it's got a, it's got the heritage and the Hitman people wanting to play it as well. It's the Bond. I think this one could do really, really well. Neo is going to be, niche as it for their audience. Pragmata is probably going to be the weird one because you don't really know anything about it, but it looks cool at the same time. So I can see people waiting for a sale on this one. And Halo, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this one. I don't think PlayStation fans are really going to buy it. I think it's going to not have the desired effect that Microsoft thinks it will. And it's going to be interesting to see how they react after that. Oh yeah, I know. They've got. That's why I said they've got 3 exclusives: first party, third party. Because I think Neo 3 is going to be on PlayStation, right? The others were as well. Or am I thinking of Sekiro? I can't remember. One of them is. But yeah, these ones are all just multi-plat. In terms of which one will do the best, I think First Light has the potential to do the best out of all of these. Let's have a look. The Chief look good. Chief look good. There's a bit of gameplay there. Oh, Tokon wasn't in that list. This is going to do well for fighters. Can you not with the goddamn licensed music? June Awakening? That's Isn't this the one that Xbox didn't get because of the Series S? Onimusha is another third-party game. Crimson Desert is another third-party multiplayer game. Another multiplayer game. I'm really excited for this. I really hope it's good. Pragmata. Legacy of the Dark Knight will likely be another multiplayer game. Seven Deadly Sins is going to be on PlayStation only. It's a gacha game, or sort of like a gacha game. Directive 820, I don't know what this is, if it's multiplayer or not. Not bad all in all. Did they finally release it? Because I know they held it back because of the Series S and the RAM issue. How did they get around that? Not that it matters. Chile by revealing Leon S. Kennedy? We know. Silly, silly people. The Clockwork game is releasing. I think that's exclusive, console exclusive to Xbox, right? I didn't see a PS5 announcement for that one. But yeah, I wonder if it is a leak or if they actually purposefully turned around and were like, "Hey man, buddy, let's go. Let's start leaking all this stuff." I mean, it's possible, right? But man, Skyrim not being 60 FPS on the Switch 2 is crazy. Yeah, it's called laser ports from... I mean, why is Microsoft getting the blame for this? It's Bethesda being Bethesda. CR going to PlayStation? What's CR? Oh, Clockwork? No, this is just my that trailer's gone. This is just my default reel that I need to update for next year. This is just Xbox Showcase. But Square Enix's shareholders were not happy with Square Enix's performance with their games, which is crazy and weird and not surprising at the same time. But they were apparently really not happy with the 3 million plus sales of Final Fantasy 16. By the way, I know my video the other day bombed with the Yakuza 0 one. So for those of you that don't know, if you have the original Yakuza 0 game, on console right now, it is not showing you the discount that you can get. So you can get a discount. In the UK, it should be roughly about £15, give or take, and you can get the upgrade. However, it's not working at the moment, so you need to hold off on picking that up if that was a game you wanted to pick up. Apparently, it applies to all consoles, not just Xbox. PlayStation is suffering from it as well. It is, however, working on Steam, as you would have seen on my video, where, you know, it was available for $11.99. So, Steam version for the upgrade is working. The console versions are not yet currently working, but they will be working at some point. They are working to fix it, so they do appear. So when you actually go to the Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, you get the discounted version. What have they added to the Director's Cut? They've basically added more cutscenes to give the story more context and make it just flow better. And they've also added an English dub to it. Hopefully not one that Amazon did. If something like Red Dead Redemption 1 can run at 1080p 60 and upscaled 4K 60, Skyrim should do easily. The problem is Bethesda games aren't built great. They're good games and they tell a good story and they've got great gameplay, but in terms of the way they're woven together, they rely on the community to get it working and optimized to work better. They kind of just get the product, package it, and say, hey guys, off you go, fix it for us. And the community does it for them. So Bethesda doesn't even have to do anything. You know, you don't hold them accountable because the community fixes the games for them. And they know it, and that's probably why they continue to push out the games in the state they're in. I mean, just look at it. You know, they got the Series S version running at 60 FPS before Bethesda did. That tells you a lot. Why do you need to get a PC, Woodpit? Look, Woodpit earlier today was saying he's not an Xboxer. Now he's saying he needs to be an Xboxer. What is this? Davis, Woodpit. My level characters are Traveler Lamine. I've got Arlecchino leveled. I just haven't geared her up. Jean, I did have geared up years ago, and then I didn't bother continuing because I just don't have any use for her. Yolan is still good. Rosaria is not great. Nefer and Ino work really well together, but apparently Nefer also needs Lauma. And then if you've got Nahida as well, that works really great between the three of them. Something like that. I mean, let me see if I can dig up the information. But yeah, for the Yakuza 0, if you're not seeing the upgrade and you've got it, hold off. It's going to be there. But man, what I'm really disappointed at the moment is that everyone is leaking everything. Oh, apparently the former Last of Us director's new game is being revealed at the Game Awards, but they didn't say what it is, thankfully. So that's good. Let me see. Let me see. We're gonna find it. No. But yeah, why do you need an Xbox? You don't need to be an Xboxer. What the hell is that information? Let me just search for it. I thought it would be on my timeline, but it's not. Though I really should do a palette cleanser and return back to my emo guy, as my friend would call him, from Final Fantasy XIV. My emo dude. Where is it? Does someone have that financial report that Square Enix had thing? I thought Genki might have had it, but looks like he does not either. I did see it being posted around, but looks like it's not. Man, that's crazy. It was everywhere today, and now I can't find a single thing for it. Oh well. I had literally, it was showing like what it was worth and stuff like that. I had like 5, sorry, all day yesterday. And now I can't see a single thing. It was showing the different graphs and stuff of the things. Oh damn, Square Enix's share price crashed. It lost 819 yen. You got me? Let's put that there. It might be this, what Chili sent me, but if you send one to me as well, Power Boss, that would be awesome. Yeah. It is. So I think this is the one. Excessive development cost. The elevated development cost ratio is primarily attributed to Square Enix's HD titles, particularly AAA titles, whose development costs are slightly significantly higher than those of competitors. And so they're looking at their competitors where they're spending, you know, they want to be around here, where the average is 6.6 billion Japanese yen. They're just not getting their money back. I mean, Forspoken is expensive. I can't believe that game cost that much. It was a good game, by the way. You should totally play it. But wow, it was more expensive than Final Fantasy 16. Wow, man. That's crazy. But apparently, the investors basically really piled down, according to reports, on the Square Enix management and basically said no more exclusives. Everything goes multiplat. They're looking at the Capcom games being way more profitable, being multiplat, and they said, you know what? You can't do this anymore. Not with the cost of the way the games are. So it's going to be really interesting to see if whatever the third game is called in Final Fantasy VII, if that's going to remain exclusive to PlayStation for a timed period. Honestly, and I told this to the Square Enix rep, which they didn't appreciate, by the way, but the Forspoken demo was absolute garbage. It threw you into the game. You knew nothing. You had a bunch of skills that you didn't know what to do with. Nothing made sense. And what the demo actually allowed you to play, what was there, was just terrible. And then you had this whole expanse that you could traverse with almost nothing there. None of it made sense. There was no context, no nothing. It was awful. Absolutely awful. But the base game played nothing like the demo. And maybe a lot of the fixes came from the demo, but the demo was a super old build anyway, because demos usually are. But the base game for Forspoken is actually a really fun game to play. I don't know. It could also be hey, I'm not dying, man, but it could also be thing. Was it FSR 3 demo? Maybe, but it still showcased the game, and the demo killed the game. That demo for Forspoken destroyed any chance that game had to survive. It was awful, and they made a mistake releasing that demo, and that's just, you know, that's just the thing. And obviously then you had the fans going out, you know, the community going out, the streamers. They saw it was, you know, getting views and clicks and whatnot for trending, for crying on the game and going into a corner because, you know, they're idiots and morons. But people love to see that sort of shit, so it was getting them lots of super chats and subs and whatnot and bits and whatnot. So they were just playing into that, and the community was lapping it up. But it ended up killing the studio. That is one game where the, you know, where the streamers and stuff absolutely obliterated it. Concord was the next one. Surprisingly, both of them exclusive to PlayStation. Just putting it out there. I don't know, actually. I reckon there's a good chance that the third game might be released simultaneously across all platforms. No, Mind's Eye released broken, man. Mind's Eye released
well, you're my
broken.
third best channel, so tie.
Well, you're my third. Thank you, Chili. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the £2, buddy. I appreciate you. These are all going towards my fund where I'm going to get my Xbox. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, Mind's Eye was just broken, man. I saw the way the AI was in that game. They were standing in front of you and still couldn't shoot you. That game was just bad. They had to go back and redo it. They did a whole Real Reborn with that game. From what I hear now, though, Woodpit, it's in a much better state. So if you can find it for cheap, it's worth picking up. When are we getting Tactics over on Xbox? The day when the week ends, or the day when a day ends in, I don't know, S. Take it easy, Talos. Who knows, Chili? Who knows? Only one person knows. Yeah, Mind's Eye was bigged up way too much. They made it look so good, it was crazy. And they suffered for that. They overhyped it. I mean, to be fair, they didn't overhype it. The community overhyped it. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it looked good, Susano. Everyone thought it looked good. It's not like, you know... Man, I still need to jump back into Final Fantasy 14. And, actually, you know, catch up with the story because I am so far away. Have a good one, Diablo. Wait, Diablo isn't leaving. Tell us, Steve. Of course I beat 16. What I really want to do is go back and finish the Final Fantasy games that I haven't finished. There's only a few. There's a Final Fantasy 4, the After Years. I don't know, does Final Fantasy Dimensions on mobile count? But there's that. 5 and 6 I didn't finish. 9 I didn't finish. And that's it. I've done the rest. Look, just whatever you do, Chili, leave me out of it. Go kill anyone else, but leave Chaos out of it. Chaos did nothing to you. Right? You can see I am here, and I am perfectly normally sane. You don't have to come after me. It's fine. Leave me out of this. Go do whatever you need to do with another person. Go defeat another boss. But leave Chaos out of this. How much do you have to donate? Oh, you didn't tell me. Ah, that was the one I was looking for. Thank you for that, Power Boss. Yeah, we got the second one. It was the first one I was after. Yeah, I checked a number of times and there was nothing there. When you said I got you, I checked and there was nothing there. And then I checked again and again and again and again. And nothing was there. So I thought you gave up. Let's turn that off for a sec. They are slightly different. I like how Nintendo is just completely brushed aside and no one cares about Nintendo. Excluded from benchmarking as the company owns its own console, making platform deployment and promotion relatively easier than other companies. But Capcom, despite what it's doing, is doing relatively better than all of them. Sega is hitting a bit of a problem here because they've kind of screwed themselves over, haven't they? As you all know, with their definitive editions. But as to how much super chat you'd have to send me, I'll have to think about that, Chili. I'll have to think about that. But yeah, people aren't buying the Sega RPGs or games anymore because Sega has a bad habit of saying, hey, buy my shiny new game. And then you buy their shiny new game and then they go, by the way, now we've got the definitive version with all the cool extras that we decided not to put in the game the first time and makes the experience so much better. And you get even extra characters. Buy this new shiny version. So now people, instead of buying 2 versions of the game, they're just waiting for the definitive version and it's hit their bottom line. And now they're trying to figure out a way how to go around that because just telling people that we're not going to release a definitive version isn't going to be enough. So Sega have kind of dug themselves a hole now that they don't probably know how to get out of. It's going to take a while for them to, retrain people to believe them. But Square Enix, after all the games that they've released, is being behind Capcom is crazy, considering what Capcom only had, Monster Hunter, which was, critically just lambasted. Whether it's the performance, the game, everything about it was just completely destroyed. And yet it still sold way better. Do you know what, Devastator? I can totally believe that. I can totally believe that. Klee is just a monster. I mean, Nintendo can't be in this simply because they own their own platform, right? So it's a lot easier for them to sell. Nintendo is like a crazy cult. They could just, all they need to do is, oh man, we're having a bad day. Yeah, just rebranded, just repackage Mario Sunshine and put it on the Switch too. And then you get 10 million sales. It's done. say what you will about the Nintendrons, they turn out for their games, man. They turn out. They will turn out. Don't turn up. They are there day one, and they don't care if the game is good or bad. They'll buy it, and you gotta respect it. You gotta respect them for that. Nintendo sure has a extremely loyal community. Yeah, Pirate Yakuza was Sega. I mean, look at it. They're releasing, after all these years, they're doing a new Persona 4, but I think they're adding more stuff to it, and it's like, why? The game was fine the way it was. That's surprising me as well, but I'm thinking they're doing that next year. Well, next year is going to be the year of Zelda, and the year after probably the year of Mario. Yeah, Harmon, mate. That guy is literally just. Do you know what? I reckon Nintendo just doesn't want him as a Nintendo fan. Nintendo's probably begging that he moves away. And I've barely touched my PS5 this year. It's so crazy. Oh, so that's what he said. Yeah, I'm still happy I've been blocked. The guy's an idiot. That guy is a total idiot. I can't stand James. He's like such a toxic piece of crap. Which is why I blocked him, and I'm happy I did. Your top 5 is... I'm impressed. Wilds is in there. Baldur's Gate 3 is at number 4. Dragon Ball. Man, you do love your Dragon Ball. Marvel Rivals there, obviously, because of all the waifus. So that's naturally going to be there. And naturally, Final Fantasy 14. Not a bad wrap-up at all. Yeah, my PlayStation time's going to be awful. I've hardly played it. Outside of Stellar Blade, I think that's like going to be the only game in there. Yeah, I blocked him ages ago. I just can't stand that guy. Ever since James actually took a clip I made and then started cutting and editing what I was saying in order for me to say something else and then posted that, that was the draw for me with James. If you are going to go that low and that deranged and spend that amount of time to be that pathetic, you know, I don't mind the console warring and the banter and all this and that, but if you have to go to that level, and he done this to Destin as well, but if you have to go to that level to be that pathetically scumbag, then I just block you and I don't care. I don't need to see anything that guy ever posts. He can say what he likes. He's probably the one that has been spreading around the rumors that I'm a PDF. I would genuinely not be surprised if it was him. I've had multiple accusations now for some random reason by PlayStation fans accusing me of it. Maybe it's the gacha side, I don't know. But I wholeheartedly would not be surprised if it came from him. That's how much of a horrible person James actually is. So I hope he gets his comeuppance and life finally catches up with him. And when he realizes it and it slaps him in the face, maybe, just maybe, he'll get some common sense slapped into him. But I'm not holding out hopes. No, James isn't Harmon. He's some Twitter troll. I actually just I honestly, every month I just put it on to claim the games and turn it off. All I've been doing. I do need to finish Ragnarok, but good lord, that game is so boring. Like, it's insanely boring. I saw KGN got his Twitter suspended as well. That was hilarious. Hey, Susanna, I'm not like that, man. But I've had multiple accusations now that I've seen on social media, all by PlayStation fans, calling me that. And there's not much I can do about it. I've reported it to Twitter, and they say accusing someone of being that sort of person is not against their terms of service. You are freely allowed to accuse someone of being that on social media. Peak is coming out for you tomorrow. Wait, Leaf, is Pac-Man coming out tomorrow? Seriously, Pac-Man, it's finally happening. Which is why I just don't think. I just brush it aside, and if people are gonna do that, I just block them and move on with my life, man. I've got no I got no time for people like that. Yeah, they basically said that they didn't commit an offense. Power Boss, I sent you a message on Discord. But we should finish Kronos tomorrow for those that want to come and hang out. And hopefully we'll start on something new shortly after. Is there anything else anyone wants to chat, cover or anything like that? I've kind of run out of all the news I wanted to cover today. Any other thing? Because I can't see anything else on social media that is pertaining. Apparently a lot of things were coming out in terms of reveals, but I'm not seeing anything else that's newsworthy. Well, Maggie Robertson, for those of you that know who she is going to be presenting again. For those of you that watched the Joystick Awards, you know who she is with Resident Evil 8. And that's going to be interesting. Oh, Switch 2 passed 15 million in November. That is crazy. That's insane. They're about to... Do you reckon with Christmas they can hit 20 million? What is that? Where is it? This Susano? Where in Discord? Oh, the Windows Central one. Let's have a look. Let this be the last thing we cover today. Monster Hunter Showcase has been postponed until further notice thanks to the tsunami warning in Japan. Here are all the details. Is this the one? News on Monster Hunter Wilds 4th tile update and Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection will have to wait as Capcom postponed news on them thanks to a recent tsunami warning in Japan. We had a wind warning today, not on the scale of a tsunami though. Today was when the next Monster Hunter Showcase was supposed to go live and give players the latest news on Monster Hunter Wilds and Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection. However, Capcom has announced on its social media platforms that the Monster Hunter Showcase is now being postponed due to a recent tsunami warning issued in Japan. The tsunami warning in question was caused by an earthquake off the northeastern coast of Japan at 2:33 a.m. You know, there's been a number of earthquakes in northern Cyprus as well. It's been quite crazy how it's getting worse and worse. Thousands of citizens have been told by the Japanese government to evacuate as a tsunami up to 3 meters high is expected to... Man, not another one. The developers at Capcom are following the evacuation order by cancelling the Monster Hunter Showcase until further notice. This Monster Hunter Showcase was meant to reveal more information regarding Monster Hunter Wilds' upcoming 4th title update, which will feature the return of Gogmazios from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate as an endgame boss. It was also meant to show off more features of the upcoming updates, such as new endgames like upgrading artisan weapons and stuff, PC performance improvements to address CPU and GPU complaints players have been review bombing the Steam version about, easier methods to obtain armor spheres, balance adjustments, new 9-star quests, a new seasonal event called the Festival of Accord. The Monster Hunter Showcase was also meant to show us new information regarding Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection, the latest entry in Monster Hunter's turn-based spin-off series. Back in October 2025, the game showed off its character creator system, opened pre-orders, and released a trailer revealing the return of Yamatsumaki, an elder dragon that hasn't been seen in a Western-released Monster Hunter title since Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, which was a fantastic game, by the way. Totally worth playing. Stay tuned for more updates as we keep a close eye on the new broadcast update for the Monster Hunter Showcase. Fun fact, Monster Hunter Freedom was the first game to actually properly get me into Monster Hunter. Freedom Unite is where I became a pro. And then I played Worlds and became crap at the game again. Enfield, not 100% sure. They're just finishing their second beta, but I believe it's going to be first quarter of next year. First quarter of next year. Will you buy Adventures of Elliot when, even though they are making it a more action-based, not turn-based? It looks good. I've downloaded the demo. Haven't tried the demo yet, Leaf, so I'm going to check the demo out. I think I downloaded the demo. So I'm going to check the demo out first and then make a judgment if I like it or not. But I like the art style, and that's the most important thing in terms of thing. Obviously, the story is way more important, but I can deal with a bad combat system as long as the story is good.
Thanks.
Hey, I'm so happy that this voiceover thing is working. I thought it might not work, but it is working. Alright folks, that is going to be it for today. I did release a video before going live. Make sure to go check that out. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please do subscribe. Hit that like button on this stream, on the videos. It really helps me get more opportunities, and it really just helps the channel grow. We will be back on Thursday for the Game Awards. Tomorrow I am probably going to try and finish Chronos. We're right at the end. So if you want to check that out, feel free to tune in here, and we'll get more of that stuff done tomorrow. But chat, that is going to be it for me for today. Devin is hiding with his copy of... You know what? I have no idea. And after the bad news I've got, I'm not even going to joke about it. I'll try to reach out to him and see where he is. After the news I got yesterday, I don't even want to joke about it anymore. So yeah, I'll check out where he is. I was going to say he's still cherishing his Concord game. All right, man. I will catch you all next time. Take it easy, fellas. And Power Boss, today or tomorrow I'll reach out to you. So keep an eye on that. I just need to talk to someone really urgently after stream, so it won't probably be today. But otherwise, I'll see you all tomorrow, folks. Peace out. Thanks so much for hanging out. It's been a great stream. You've been a great sport. Thank you for the super chats. It's meant a lot. I will see you tomorrow or on Thursday. Late stream on Thursday, don't forget. Right, I'm out. Hey, I thought you was hiding with your Concorde. There he is. Speak of the devil. A true pony always lies in the waking. Always, lays low and hides until the perfect moment to strike. Now you know how the true pony is. Of course we miss you. We miss all your pony antics. Peace out, folks. Yeah, you probably don't want to be saying that publicly. Especially when we were talking about an extra inch earlier and, getting the extra height on the top and the bottom. So that's what you're doing in the bush, huh? What can I say, man? What can I say? I guess size really does matter. Peace out, everyone.